Hi, Trent Nelson of Infinite Healing, and somebody saw my YouTube on clearing the greatest issue of forgiving your parents and for the way that you were raised, or forgiving the way you were raised. And they wanted me to talk about specific examples about how that might manifest or show up in their life and what it might look like if they have this as an issue. So I'm happy to do that. With every trauma that a person has, there is a negative, there is something that causes them to want to heal this, but then they also develop a survival mechanism that becomes a positive that goes with being traumatized. And it sounds odd, well, how could there be a positive to being traumatized? But people, there's benefits that people have by remaining the same. And so they either think that if I stay the same, then I'll get what I am currently having in life, and so then I might not want to change because I'm afraid I'll either get something worse or else I'll get something, or else something will be taken from me. So if a person is stuck in this judgment that they have about their past or the way that they were raised, then the way that that might look is, I'll give you some examples. Let's say that a female, a girl, thinks that her father wasn't there for her, or she thinks that he worked too much. She might feel traumatized by that, like she didn't get enough attention from that person, and then, so that feels like a trauma. My father wasn't there for me. And either that person will create having that happen to them, that would be the negative. I find myself not attracting the men that I want into my life, or I feel like men aren't there for me. And then the benefit of that trauma might be that they create people rescuing her from that. So there might be somebody around who says, oh, they're there, you know, I'll be there for you. And you know, your father didn't know what he was doing, and he wasn't there for you, so I'll be there for you. So that would be a benefit that you get by having the trauma. A lot of people have this with birth. Let's say that you were rescued at your birth. Well, a lot of people experience this feeling that they need to be rescued, and that either somebody is bothering them, or some situation they don't like, or I've got to get out of here. Something causes them to feel like they need to be rescued. And so even though that's a trauma, they will create people who are rescuers rescuing them. And so they develop a game of I need to be rescued, and then somebody else has the game of I need to rescue. So the rescue game. And then another trauma, let's say, would be, let's say a man, a boy, has a judgment about his father. My father was too mean. He was angry. And so I'm going to make sure that I'm not angry towards women, or I'm going to be nice to my mother. And so then they constantly, the negative is that they constantly create men around them that they perceive are angry, or that don't know what they're doing. And that's the negative. The positive is that, like, the benefit they would get from that, and sometimes this overrides a person wanting to heal. They think that the benefit that they get from the trauma is more important than the healing, and that's never accurate. That is never the case. You will always get something better if you're willing to heal. So this person, the benefit of that trauma would be, well, I'm always creating people that I perceive, men that I perceive who are angry or mean, so I get to look like the nice guy to all the women. And I like that. That's my benefit. I get to look like I'm the white knight in shining armor coming in to rescue the woman. And so you can see there's a negative. The negative is that they don't get the kind of male support, like good male support, that they deserve, and they create people around them matching their judgment. Men don't know what they're doing, or angry, mean, and so then they would attract people like that. And the benefit, they get to look like the good guy. Another example, let's say a girl thought her father was weak, and uh, which usually is, there's layers to trauma. So let's say a woman thinks, oh, my father wasn't there for me, or he was, let's say I thought my father was a weak man. And so then I feel like I'm very strong as the woman. And then, so maybe I become a boss of a company. And I have all of these men around me that I think are kind of weak, and I get to be in charge of them. Negative, I don't get to be around strong people, strong men. Positive, the benefit of the trauma, I get to be in charge. So with every trauma, there's a positive and a negative. But the point of this is that it's still a trauma. So any trauma is going to have a negative impact on your body and on your life. And so, but people get used to what it is that they have, and so they're afraid to change, or they're afraid to let go of these games and these perceptions and these traumas, and realize that life, spirit, universe wants you to have more and will give you more once you clear the way for that space of being able to give you something opens up. The judgments that you have, the ones that I've explained, they make it so that you only can have that certain lifestyle, because your mind has to have a reality around it that matches your perceptions in order to keep you sane. So whatever judgments you have create the life that you have, and whatever judgments you clear allow you to have a better life. So trying to think of another example. Men do this with each other a lot. They're very competitive. And so if I can make you look like you're angry, so if you're talking, I will just interrupt you while you're talking and see if I can make you upset. And then I get to prove that you were angry, and then I look like the good guy. And so that becomes the anger game. Another game people have that way, or benefits of the trauma and the negative of the trauma, would be, let's say that a female is trying to, thinks that only men are there for her. Let's say that her mother was off working. So she thinks, oh, my mother wasn't there for me. But she gets a lot of men to pay attention to her. So as a child, let's say she had male siblings and a father who stayed home. Let's say the mother was off working. Then she might think, well, women aren't there for me, but I get a lot of men to be there for me. And so then I like the attention of all the men, so I don't want to heal my judgment that women aren't there for me, or I don't want to change my thought. I like what I'm getting. Except that if you would change that thought, you would get more. You would get women to be there for you as well. Now that might bring up another issue. Aha, now I've got men and women there for me, competition. Then you need to clear that issue, and then you'll be able to feel harmonious, more people to play with. So it's always better to heal and clear the judgments than to think, well, maybe I can't heal, or I'm not smart enough to heal, or this is just the way it's going to be for me in life, and so I'll just see if I can make the best of it. It's always better to go in and clear the judgments, change the judgments, and actually heal. And so you need to learn what that means, what it means to actually heal. So if you have questions about this, I can be reached www.lulu.com/TrentInspires, and otherwise at my email, TrentNelsonInspires@hotmail.com. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about this. And if you feel like you need help with these kind of situations, these judgments, then you can also reach me for that. So good luck to you, and thanks for watching this YouTube.